and we support it with our efforts. So I can't tell you how much fun it is to be part of this organization. It's just fun and fulfilling and rewarding, and so, and it's fun to stand up here in front of you today to have the opportunity to welcome you to Unity of Fort Collins. I have a funny story. I thought I was sending a text to somebody else, and I sent it to Jim, and I asked him over the weekend, "How's your tummy?" So Jim said, he saw me this morning and he said, "It's fine." So if anybody wants, like, I have it in me, I could ask anybody, "Hey, how's your tummy this morning?" So I hope it's all good. And I'm glad I sent it to Jim. You never know who you need to ask about their tummy. So good deal. Welcome to our online folks today. And we have a thriving online community. Lots of people watch the services. We have our own YouTube channel. So the services are always available online, both in real time and you can go back and look at another one. Our speaker today is Rev Sharon Bush. Reader is Kellee James, and our own John Magny and crew does the music. Ginny is our prayer chaplain today. Can you stand up and wave? We always have a prayer chaplain available after the service, and so if anybody would like to have the opportunity to have a prayer after the service, it's available to you. Excuse me. The kids right now are working on the spiritual elements: earth, fire, water, air, and spirit. So they're all back there. My husband, Robert, is a chemist, and he's doing water with the kids today. And there have been chemistry experiments in my kitchen all week. So I'm pretty sure the most fun is back there today. No offense, Sharon. So our kids are so lucky to have a lot of folks participating, but just to have fun in the teaching of spiritual principles. Okay, I have a horde of people who want to make announcements, so start lining up now. Ready, go. Come. Go, Lil.
Well, I have two. This Tuesday at 10, we're going to have tea, but it's not going to be at our house. It's going to be at Anisha's. And we had the board back there get together, and I will put the information back up there. And everybody's invited, and they're fun. And at the table back here, we have the marketplace where we're selling different things. It's not things that are going to accumulate, but they're experiences and events. So check it out. I mean, some of them have already gone. You know, the cabin's gone, the weeding's gone. But go back there and have some fun. Thanks.
Denise and Leaf.
Thank you. We're about the same height these days. Good morning. I'm Denise, and this is my son Leaf. And our family is going to have family fun night in September at our house. We live in Midtown Fort Collins. It's going to be on September 22nd at 6 p.m. And we're planning for a lot of outdoor backyard activities, so hopefully the weather will cooperate. A bunch of games for kids. We have a fire pit, and we'll have some food. We're working on those details, but please feel free to bring whatever you would like as well. And we also have chickens for the kids to feed, and Leaf would like to talk about the chickens.
Now the chickens, they are fluffy. Now when you look at them, they're only babies, but they're like this big.
Do you know their names?
The names are Midnight, Galaxy, Redwood, Ginger, Rubber, and Starry.
Thank you.
They're fluffy. Woohoo!
Wow, he's a tough act to follow. But anyway, I'm Kamina, and I wanted to invite you all Tuesday, actually it's this Tuesday, the 12th, here in the Roomy Room. Once a month, we do the Twin Hearts meditation, which is a peace meditation, followed by a free session of pranic healing, which is energy healing, a no-touch energy healing. So I hope you'll all join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Julie's passing around a clipboard for the October volunteer crew. So there's a whole bunch of volunteer positions that you're welcome to sign up for. On October 7th, there will be a workshop at Unity from 1 to 4. The title is The Art, Heart, and Science of True Friendship. Suzanne Carter will be leading the workshop, and she'll be speaking here. She's a Unity minister, so we'll be glad to be supporting Suzanne's. The workshop looks really nice, sweet. Yard sale donations are being accepted this week during office hours, and the sale is on Saturday, 9/16 from 8 to 2. It's not too late to bring your stuff. And plans are in the work for the Fund Fest. So John and his team of musicians and Elise, our group of musicians, are putting on a concert, a fundraising concert for Unity. So we'll be excited about that. And the community lunch bunch is going to the Rio after the service today. Whew, that'll do it. All right, let's join in our centering prayer. Our unity centers us in light and peace, allowing us to recognize our God within and to radiate that love to the world. Thank you.
All right, good morning. We're having fun with all these fundraiser events. We've got the big sale next Saturday, and as Ann said, we have a music fest on October 13th, which is going to be good as far as raising money, but mostly we want to just play this music with the choir that we've been working on for a few months here. So we'll be having choir practice every Thursday till October 13th at 6:30 p.m. So anybody please join in. At that time, we will be doing this song, among others. This is written by Chris McShay here, called Live in Me.
To grow in the light of the Spirit's name. I'm praying for the world to heal again. A simple way of living that we all need to give. We are here right now singing praises to you, opening our hearts with all we do, a simple way of living for me and you. Live in me, give me love and peace, heal me, so I can release the fear inside my heart. Live in me, live in me, so that I can see. Give to me without worry as I drink the milk of your word. Live in me. Want to grow in the light of the Spirit's name. I'm praying for the world to heal again. A simple way of living that we all need to give. We are here right now singing praises to you, opening our hearts with all we do. A simple way of living for me and you. Live in me, give me love and peace, heal me, so I can release the fear inside my heart. Live in me, live in me, so that I can see. Give to me without worry as I drink the milk of your word. Live in me.
Can y'all help us with that chorus one time?
Live in me, give me love and peace, heal me, so I can release the fear inside my heart. Live in me, live in me, so that I can see. Give to me without worry as I drink the milk of your word. Live in me.
As I drink the milk of your love.
As I drink the milk of your love. Live in me.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, John Magny.
All right, Kellee. Do you have a reading for us, Kellee, today? Here she comes.
Good morning. May this reading bless us, everyone. Thankfully, as the saying goes, it is never too late to begin. We may have been absent to the universe, but the universe has never been absent to us. The minute we look around us with natural curiosity, the moment we attune ourselves and listen without judgment, we open up to spacious new vistas. Sometimes we may miss these moments. We overlook them on our way to something we consider more meaningful. To become aware, we slow down, look, and listen to what is present right now. Such is the hidden splendor of God's universe that if we can just be for a few minutes, rich spiritual rewards await us. Do you remember a time when a seemingly ordinary, even mundane event took on greater significance because you were fully present to it? Did it spark a sense of gratitude that arose spontaneously from within? Begin today. Notice the clouds and the changing light as your day progresses. Look into a friend's eyes as you share a meal or a conversation together. Be open to adventure at the checkout line or in traffic. A kindness shared and a courtesy offered may move you without fail into your rightful place of generosity, gratitude, and joy, which are your true nature. Yep, only one thing is required, and it's available to you right now.
All right. Sharon's talk today is going to be about money. And money is, of course, just a symbol, of abundance or scarcity. And there's this topic of homelessness is something that this symbol of scarcity that really messes my head up. Don't know what to do about it. This is what this is about. People running scared. It's cold out there. There's nowhere for them to go. Someone is gonna have to show on this cold night. On this cold night. Seems like there are more every day. People on the streets with nowhere to stay. Hey, they may be lost, they're not mistakes. But the sun is going down and they've got to face another cold night. If there was a guiding angel right here, I'd ask her to whisper in my ear. She might know the rising truth. She might have an answer or two on this cold night. People, I know that I've cried out a lot. I say, why don't they help? Why can't they care? You know that I've been torn my share. But it was me that was not aware on this cold night. Oh, this cold night. On this cold on a cold night. On this cold night. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. John. That's a beautiful song. It's heart-touching. So John's right. Today I'm going to talk about that topic that we're not supposed to talk about, the gift of money.
They say everything in life, the best things in life are free. But you can give them to the birds and bees. I want money. What I want, that's what I want. That's what I want, that's what I want. That's what I want.
That's our John. He's not only a great musician, but he has a sense of humor. So I am going to talk about money, but I'm not going to ask you for money. So I hope when you leave here today, you have an awareness of the power you have over your own prosperity. So if I were to ask you, are you rich or are you poor? What's the first thing that would come to your mind? I have said, and you've heard me say, that I grew up poor in poverty. And by the standard of money only, that's true. But I really grew up rich. So rich. My mother loved me so much that she focused her whole life on supporting my brother and I. I was a latchkey kid who experienced a rich an adventure in imagination and independence. Like many of you, I've had times in my life where I didn't have a job, wasn't even sure where I was going to find one, had concerns about my physical ability to go back to work. And then during those times, I wrapped fear, big time fear, around my consciousness of money. Freezing fear, worry fear, no savings, no job, unpaid bills, a house of daughters to support. But you know what? When I look back on my life, I can see that my needs were always met. Maybe not my wants, but for sure, my needs were taken care of. And I just suspect that most of you can look back on your life and see the same thing, that your needs were always there. So with a personal recommendation during this time of fear in my life, my elderly neighbor sent a letter to the president, to the owner of Montevina Wines in California, recommending me for the position that they were advertising for vice president. And I got hired. Now, where I was physically in my life, that alone was a total miracle. So using my career as an accountant, I want to share some stories with you this morning, how other people have enriched my lives, enriched their lives with their gift of prosperity to others, and how millionaires seemed like paupers. The 8 years that I worked at Montevina Wines, I had a true life example of a very wealthy man, the winery owner, who spent his life worrying about his wealth. He was estimated to have a financial portfolio of over $30 million. When his father died, I wrote a check for estate taxes for $21 million. I had to look up how to write it. And yet, he was such a miserable, unhappy man. He wouldn't heat the offices in the winery because it cost too much. His relationship with his 3 adult children was only based on what they could do for him. I would watch him, and he was so uptight, and he lived in such fear. He read tax books, if you can imagine. I mean, they're really boring, because he didn't want to pay 1 penny more in taxes than he needed to. But the fear of losing his money kept him from enjoying it, kept him from enjoying his family, and really kept him from being truly prosperous, because prosperity is when you feel joy and peace. So after the winery, I went to work for a CPA, and I was doing accounting and income tax preparation. So if you want to see people's energy about money, spend a day in a CPA office, especially during tax season. Just think about your own emotions when you're getting ready to do your taxes. You might be asking yourself, in fact, I know Jim asks me all the time, are we getting a refund? It's like, honey, we have to pay in to get money back. So there are folks who have to pay a large amount of money because they've had an amazing year with their business, but have failed to consider that part of that money is going to be taxable. I have seen people literally fall apart in hysterical tears when they find out they owe $26,000. But yet they remodeled their whole house last year. It can be very dramatic when somebody picks up their tax return. So most of us kind of do an emotional dance around preparing our tax returns, and I don't think very many people enjoy it. So I am going to share a couple of more stories about the finances of my clients, with names changed to protect the innocent. My client, Leon, was a gifted welder. His wrought iron gates were works of art. People traveled for miles to have him design and create the entries to their property. Leon was a devout Christian. He really believed the Bible verse in the book of John, where it's written that Jesus said, I have come that you may have life and have it abundantly. And while I agreed with Leon that the Spirit is the source of all of our goods, I was not on board with his method of seeking abundance. Leon thought his good came from a credit card. In our conversations about his credit card use, I would ask him if he owned a credit card or whether his credit card owned him. He always seemed to have a get-rich-quickly scheme. One year during his 4th quarter appointment to look over his finances, he let me know that during the coming year, his income was going to increase greatly. And I asked him how, why? Well, because he had invested in 3 timeshares in Cancun, Mexico. And the rental money was going to make him really rich. I don't know if you know about timeshares, but Leon's not rich. When I think about this really talented, really nice man, I can see where greed got in the way of his good. His business alone, if he just focused on it, provided him with a really nice lifestyle. But he always needed more, always needed more. So Unity author Eric Butterworth wrote in his book, Spiritual Economics, money is good. You don't have to feel guilty about having it. It is a currency or a creative flow of divine activity. He went on to write, money is a wonderful symbol of God's abundance. Give thanks that is continually pointing you toward the limitless of universal supply. So I need to shoot in a funny story here. I don't know if it's a true story. So it's about a man who'd worked really hard all his life and he'd saved his money. He was a real miser. And he loved money more than just about anything. So one day he said to his wife, hey, when I die, I want to take all my money with me. So will you put it in the casket with me? Because I want my money in the afterlife. And he forced her to promise with all her heart that she would obey his wish and put all the money in the casket with him. Well, soon after that, he died. And the wife sat in the front pew in the church during the funeral. Her best friend was next to her. And when the ceremony was finished, just before the undertakers closed the casket, the widow said, wait a minute. And she placed a small box that she had with her in her husband's hands. The undertakers locked the casket and rolled it away. The woman's friend said, I know you weren't foolish enough to put all your money in there with your husband. And the widow replied, listen, I'm a Christian. I can't go back on my word. I promised him I was going to put our money in the casket with him. And that's what I did. You mean to tell me you put all that money in the casket? I sure did, said the widow. How'd you fit it all in that box? Her friend asked. I wrote him a check. So I want to share one more story with you. It's about my favorite client. I lived in Amador County, California, up in the foothills, and it is where the gold rush boomed. In fact, I lived in a house that was part of the gold rush. And during the gold rush, many men came from Italy and Serbia by ship to work in the gold mines in the 1800s. So several of my clients were children of these miners. So I would hear stories about it. And one story from the Italian section was that they all had grapevines that came from Italy in their yards. And instead of milk or something in their lunch pails, they would take watered down wine in curved fruit jars for their lunch. So one man, his name was George Brajovich, and George was Serbian, and he shared his history with me. He told of watching his father leave their home early in the morning. And one day he saw his father kind of leaning over and choking and coughing and spitting stuff up. And 7-year-old George asked his mother, is Dad sick? And his mother said, yes, he is. And his dad died a few months later from miner's disease, of being down in those gold mines. So a year later, George's mother approached her neighbor, a widow with 3 children. And George's mother told her that she was dying of cancer and had a proposition for her. If she would consent to take George as her own son when she died, to raise him as her own, she would deed over her fully paid for house for all of them to live in. So George stayed in his own home when his mother died. and the neighbor lady moved in with her children and became his adoptive mother. When World War II started, George joined the Navy, and he had his pay sent to his adoptive mother to help her out. And when the war ended and George came home, he discovered that his adopted mother had saved that money for him. And she gave it to him, and he started his business. He bought his first tractor and started a heavy equipment business. He worked hard, lived simply, and became very wealthy. This is the foundation of the orphan boy who I met as an 80-year-old man. George and his wife, Billy, found out as a young couple that they were unable to have children. So they made the decision to help kids from low-income families in the community go to college. When I was doing their taxes and visiting with them and learning about them, I discovered that over a 50-year time span, they had paid complete tuition to a 4-year college for 136 students. Like I said, they lived a simple life. In their original 2-bedroom home, you would never know they were multimillionaires because they gave so much of it away. George said to me one day, "Sharon, God has been so good to me. I am so very blessed, and I choose to be a generous giver, and that's where my happiness lies." The man who had been an orphan boy taught me the beauty of wrapping your giving with love. He would say all the time, "Give and give with love, and it comes flying back to you, Sharon." George was just one of the coolest men I ever met. So my understanding and my experience of prosperity and abundance is that it's not only about our finances. From a spiritual perspective, we can say that we live abundantly whenever we express the greatness of Spirit's presence in our lives. In the New Testament, in the book of John, it is written, "Give, and it will be given unto you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap. For the measure you give will be the measure that you get." So my friends, giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin. The energy of giving and the energy of receiving are connected. Think of it as a circle. When you give energy, when you give to someone, energy leaves the circle and makes room in the circle for your receiving on the other side. It's a circle of giving and receiving. And if you refuse to give, you shut down your own energy in that circle. And the same is true when you don't receive. We can give in many ways. Some call it the 4 T's of giving. Giving of our talent, our time, our treasure, and our testimony, which is our kind words. Genuine giving is done with no strings attached and is wrapped in love. That is to say clearly, we don't give so that we merely can get something back. We cannot receive without giving. We cannot give without receiving. Yet we understand that our good may not always be returned to us in the same way as we gave. And that really is, and it's been my experience in life, that in the highest sense, all giving and receiving is of spirit. And we may receive from channels wholly unexpected. A simple example of this is, I take a meal to a friend that had an accident and needs help. Do I get a meal back? No, I don't expect one. So, but within a certain time period after that, my neighbor might show up with a big bouquet of sunflowers from her yard, and I receive it. And I need flowers more than I need a meal. It's the exchange of energy. That's what we do. We do it every Sunday morning here when we greet each other. It's an exchange of beautiful energy. And I believe we receive exactly what we need. Not what somebody else needs, but what we need. For most people, it is easier to give than it is to receive. Now, you might not agree with me, but it's been my experience. Or if you do receive, you feel obligated to give back. So someone says to you, I understand you're going in the hospital. Do you need help? Oh, no, I'm fine. No, that's okay. But you really do need it. It really would be nice to have a meal come or somebody to drive you to the doctor's office. But you put up that wall and you won't be open to receive. As a minister, I have seen more of that than I have people who refuse to give. We find it really difficult to receive. But I want to share with you this thought. When you receive from someone, you're giving them the gift of giving. And you're opening up that circle of giving and receiving. So as human beings living on this planet, our lives are subjected to a multiple of laws determining the safety and the survival of our rather fragile physical bodies on this planet. They are not optional if we desire to continue our lives here. Like physical laws, there are also spiritual laws. And as truth seekers in unity, we are attempting to recognize and implement spiritual laws in our thoughts and our actions in order to live happily and well, and to make a positive difference in our world through our consciousness and actions. The truth is, prosperity is the consciousness of God's presence everywhere, and God wants you to prosper. So spiritual laws, different from legal laws. Spiritual laws teach us that we must give without any expectations of receiving in return. And when we give with an open heart, when we give with faith, it enables us to expand our vision of ourselves and a life of abundance. Another one, it is important to set clear goals. Goal setting is looking honestly at where you are, choosing what you want to be, and setting a clear and deliberate intention to go there. Doing so forces you to live consciously in the moment, rather than living without an awareness of how you want to show up. Another spiritual, very important law is you must forgive. You must forgive everyone all the time, especially yourself. Forgiveness is a discipline and a powerful spiritual practice that will enable you to feel worthy enough to live prosperously. It requires a diligence and a commitment to compassion and understanding. You must seek, discover, and follow your divine purpose. You must assign significance and meaning to your life, giving yourself strength, endurance, and bringing joy to your existence on a daily basis. When you are aligned with your divine purpose, you bring a passion to all that you do. These spiritual laws are just as much a force of your life as the law of gravity. Very simple laws, but none of them are optional. And it does not matter if you believe them or not. They play a role in your life. If you're not experiencing abundance, don't look at that result. Look at your thoughts. Every time you notice a thought of non-abundance or fear, exchange that thought for one of unlimited abundance. The act of giving represents a knowing that there is unlimited abundance, that whatever you give comes back to you. So in closing, I affirm for each of us, we live in an abundant universe and we are prosperous. And if you doubt that at all, step back into the other room and look at all the stuff for next Saturday's sale. God bless you.
That was great, Sharon. Okay, please join me in our thoughts or prayers. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is everywhere. Every thought, deed of prayer.
So we come to the moments where we go within, to that place where Spirit is. And I invite you, as you get comfortable, to think about your own life, to be in a place of gratefulness for all that has been yours, for the love of your mother, or your father, or spouse, for the joy you've had with your dog or your horse. Think about your children. Think about walking into this sacred space on Sunday mornings and how your heart is open to be home with your spiritual community. That's abundance. And we're so grateful. So we give thanks. We give thanks for all the blessings that flow into our lives. And we open ourselves to receive from each other, so that the circle of giving and receiving keeps moving. So as we go into a moment of silence, name your blessings one by one. See what spirit and you have done. Thank you, universe, for this experience of being a spiritual being in a human body. And so it is. Amen.
May the blessings of God rest upon me. May God's peace abide in me. May God's peace illuminate my heart now and forevermore. May the blessings of God rest upon you. May God's peace abide in you. May God's presence illuminate our hearts now and forevermore. May the blessings of God rest upon us. May God's peace abide in us. May God's presence illuminate our hearts now and forevermore. Now and forevermore.
So, I'd like to thank Sharon for her message today and Kellee for the reading, and especially our musicians also. John, thank you, and thank you, Chris and Gerald back here on the drums. And you know, I want to thank some individuals here especially this morning, and that is if you're here for the first time. So if you wouldn't mind, if you just slip up your hand a little bit, we've got some ushers with some packets that they'd like to give you that tells you a little bit about this community. So you just raise your hand just a little bit, they'll be glad to give you one. And up here in front, I know this lady's name is Sharon because my wife's name is Sharon. And thank you for being with us this morning. And thank all of you that are watching us over YouTube and the internet. We deeply appreciate you being here. Your energy is a gift to us. So let's proceed with our offering. I'd like to ask the ushers to come forward. As we bless our offering, I'd invite you to hold your offering in your hand and just have that spirit of gratitude as you give. On our screen is our blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
As my buddy Gerald gets up here, I wanted to just make a comment. Concerning humor, the first part that I remember from today was the little boy, yes, with the chickens, and one of them was named Rubber. Did you notice that? 5 of them had like beautiful names, and then one was named Rubber. But also the story that Sharon told about the wife putting the money into the casket. Oh, I wrote him a check. That is funny on so many levels, isn't it? The symbolic nature of money. Oh, I like that. Let's get that clap. There you go. Look at the day that the Lord has made. Oh, look at the day that the Lord has made. Life could be oh so fine, taking just one day at a time. Look at the day that the Lord has made. You got to slow down, relax, and just take it easy. All this fighting and fretting, you know there's just no reason. Now don't you love it when that morning sun is shining out? Don't you love to hear the people when they begin to shout? Oh, look at the day, here we go, that the Lord has made. Oh yeah. Oh, look at the day that the Lord has made. Or something in the air, open up my eyes. Something I heard you say, it made me realize that only love is real, and it's here right now for you and me. If we just look at the day that the Lord has made. Look at the day that the Lord has made. Oh, life could be oh so fine, taking just one day at a time. Look at the day that the Lord has made. Look at the day that the Lord has made. Oh, life could be oh so fine, taking just one lovely day at a time. Look at the day that the Lord has made. Ooh, look at the day that the Lord has made. Said, look at the day the Lord has made. Let's do one more, bring it home. Look at the day that the Lord has made. Oh, thank you all so much.
Okay, thank you, dance team. Got a new team here, don't we? That's great, wonderful. Well, we got a couple of other things to celebrate. Do we have children coming in today? So let's go ahead and invite them in by singing. Go ahead, John.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Here on the corner of Vines and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Here on the corner of Lines and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Here on the corner of Lines and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Today we talked about the four elements, and specifically water.
Water is an element, and today with a coin, and it likes itself, so today with a coin, we tried dropping water onto the coin, and it made a dome.
Hannah, why does it make a dome? Do you know why? Remember why it makes a dome?
Because it sticks together.
Yes, we are so grateful for our children's staff and Robert Hudgens, Nancy Hughes, and thank you. You can go and join your parents if that's all you have to say. Okay, thank you. One other thing, how many of you have birthdays during September? Come on, I see a couple of hands. Come on up here if you would. Come on. We don't have Joe Ellen Fulton here, but we have you, our birthday people. Good. Go ahead, John. So what day is your birthday?
5th. 19th.
The 12th.
Well, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear all of you. Happy birthday to you.
Yes, we're a community and we celebrate the day that you're born. So is there anything else today that we want to celebrate or mention? We have lunch afterwards with a lunch bunch. The marketplace. Hey, there's all kinds of good things, funny things, useful things, spiritual things at the marketplace up there. And Lil McBrien, thank you for doing that very much. So let's go ahead and circle up. One big circle, join hands with an angel. And I'd like to mention that our bookstore is open over here after the service, and they have some wonderful books on spiritual laws and spiritual economics. So if you can visit our bookstore after the service. So as we join hands, first of all, we have the prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is, and all is well.